Hello. I have this clip on my hard disk and I've been thinking about deleting it since I actually don't have the full game. It has some issues. This ends up being a fairly long game that we end up losing, and it ends up being fairly boring. And I don't have the full game, but I do have the first part of it, and I figured I might as well post it because it does feature the Khabarovsk, which was nerfed fairly recently. They nerfed the range and they nerfed the reload. And the reason why I figured I might as well post it because this clip features probably my fastest Witherer that I have ever gotten or close to ever gotten. Because, I'm not aware of getting Witherer as quickly in the past because I actually get Witherer and high caliber before 6 minutes in this game, which is pretty damn ridiculous even by my standards. And I tend to put pretty high standards on myself and nitpick whenever I potato fail something. So the fact that I managed to get the Witherer so quickly, figured that I might as well post it. I mean, if someone doesn't like it, that's okay. The Khabarovsk, of course, was a real DPS monster, but they nerfed it, they took down the range a bit, and they took down the reload. Now, some people have, of course, had a fair amount of knee-jerk reactions about how the ship was completely unplayable afterwards, something serious, or something similar, but honestly, it needed toning down because it was a bit too nuts. And it still is a strong ship, it's just not as ridiculous anymore. First thing I face is a Kutuzov, something that can be an issue at closer ranges, but that's of course why I'm instantly turning away. I keep hammering at him and instantly turning away to create distance. The further away you are, the harder time they have hitting you, considering the Khabarovsk of course relies heavily on speed to survive. Speed and agility to dodge those shells and stay alive. He's always trying to take shots at me, but it's hard. Even with the Kutuzov that has fairly accurate railguns and such, it's fairly hard to hit the Khabarovsk that is weaving back and forth like I am. And even when you do hit, there's chances you won't even do that much damage because the Khabarovsk actually has fairly good armor. Well, if you're a Kutuzov, that is, because it has very small caliber shells. Of course, he repaired earlier, got a bunch of fires on him, he repaired it, and I just keep hammering him with HE. You could use AP at this point, but honestly, when I saw the fact that he's already burned his repair, I was honestly expecting him to turn away or something and not stay like he is. I'm switching to AP now because, well, obviously he's just reversing for some reason. He just misplayed that situation. I didn't really do much damage to him, only 16k, but he sat there far too long. Now, one of the things that is often overlooked, I feel, on the Khabarovsk is the torpedoes on it. I mean, yes, they're not that long range at 10 kilometers, and no, they don't hit that hard, but considering if you go for the 3x4 build, which I always highly recommend, the 3x4 meaning you go for AFT, survivability expert and demolition expert, then you actually get a fairly high fire chance. And if you manage to land a torpedo, torpedoes of course have very high flooding chances, so you can get these combined sessions of getting both flooding and fire, or flooding to force the repair and then you get fires on them afterwards, or fires to force the repair and then you get flooding on them afterwards, and so forth. For example, 2 fires there. Because you have so many guns and the reload is still so slow, if you have high accuracy with your guns, meaning you land a lot of shells, then you tend to actually set quite a significant amount of fires. In fact, I'm not certain if still, before the nerf, you actually set more fires on the ship than you did with the Zal. But I don't know after the nerf if that's still accurate, thanks to the DPM nerf. But those 2 fires and of course my torpedoes right into the middle of that cluster should be fairly potent, because they already saw the gearing torps, so they figured they were safe, because people tend to underestimate Khabarovsk torps, which I'm perfectly okay with, because I'm lining torps on all of them right now, hammering them all, getting shells on the Baltimore, getting shells on the enemy Khabarovsk. They even have New Orleans. They have double radar cruiser there, of course. So what the gearing is doing here, smoking up and stopping, is incredibly risky, and I'm not even going to try it because, well, sitting still in a smoke when 2 people can radar you, no thank you. I prefer to just rely on my own maneuverability to stay alive than anything like that. Looks like this guy has repaired. These guys have finally moved away far enough. You see they turned away because of the torps from this guy, so I'm actually daring to smoke up for a change. As long as they were close and closing in, there was no chance I could dare to do this. Even now there is of course the risk of being still torped since the Khabarovsk is here, but I'm hoping the gearing will take most of the attention. The first one died, but I'm already on the second one. Honestly, I really like the HE on the ship. I mean, The AP is Stalinium, as often mentioned, very very strong. Oh, and there we go, Witherer. 40, well, it was 40 and 40 left on the timer, so like 5 minute 20-second Witherer. And here, as I spoke, I did catch a Khabarovsk start. As I said, people tend to underestimate them. I guess that includes me. Deserved punishment, if nothing else. And, well, after this, the game really doesn't get that special. Both sides back off, you see they take A, we take C, and it becomes this long, sniping, boring battle, and then my file gets corrupted. So, whatever, I thought I'd just post this because I thought it was pretty humorous of getting the Witherer and high caliber so incredibly quickly on this so-called nerfed Khabarovsk. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. A nice little ram or grounding to end the clip.